Okay, so today I'm going to be reading some Tolstoy. Now, as much as we hate on Russia and Putin has read this book, and he was smart too, because Tolstoy spent time in the military. He was an avid writer. He freed a lot of human beings from serfdom, and he lived to be a ripe old age of 82. So I'm just going to turn to a page somewhere, and I'm going to read here. I'm going to try to make this short because it gets boring for most people reading. And let's see here, War and Peace. War and Peace. All right, here we go. On reaching Smolensk on the evening of the 4th of August, he put up in the Gashina suburb across the Dnieper at the inn kept by Fera Punatov, where he had been in the habit of putting up for the last 30 years. Some 30 years ago, Fera by Alpatik's advice, had bought a wood from the prince, had begun to trade, and now had a house, an inn, and a corn dealer's shop in that province. He was a stout, dark, red-faced peasant in the 40s, with thick lips, a broad knob of a nose, similar knobs over his back, frowning brows, and a round belly. Wearing a waistcoat over his cotton shirt, Ferapuntov was standing before his shop, which opened onto the street. On seeing Alapatich, he went up to him. "You're welcome, Yakov." "Alapatich, folks are leaving the town, but you have come to it," said he. "Why are they leaving the town?" asked Alapatich. "That's what I say. Folks are foolish, always afraid of the French." Women's fuss, said Alapatich. "Just what I think, Yakov Alapatich. What I say is orders have been given not to let them in. So that must be right. And the peasants are asking 3 rubles for carting. It isn't Christian." Yakov Alpatych heard without heeding. He asked for a samovar and for hay for his horses, and when he had had his tea, he went to bed. All night long, troops were moving past the inn. Next morning, Alpatych donned a jacket he wore only in town and went out on business. It was a Sunday morning, and by 8 o'clock it was already hot. A good day for harvesting, thought Alpatych. From beyond the town, firing had been heard since early morning. At 8 o'clock, the booming of cannon was added to the sound of musketry. Many people were hurrying through the streets, and there were many soldiers, but cabs were driving about. Tradesmen stood at their shops, and service was being held in the churches as usual. Alpatych went to the shops, to government offices, to the post office, and to the governor's. In the offices and shops and at the post office, everyone was talking about the army and about the enemy who was already attacking the town. Everybody was asking what should be done, and all were trying to calm one another. In front of the governor's house, Alpatych found a large number of people, Cossacks, and a traveling carriage of the governor's. At the porch, he met 2 of the landed gentry, one of whom he knew. This man, an ex-captain of police, was saying angrily, "It's no joke, you know. It's all very well if you're single. One man, though undone, is but one, as the proverb says. But was 13 in your family and all the property. They've brought us to utter ruin. What sort of governors are they to do that? They ought to be hanged, the brigands." Interesting indeed. And Tolstoy seemed to have did quite a bit whenever he was in the military. And he was such an avid writer that the royalty asked that he not be put into war because of the celebration of his books. War and Peace. Thank you for listening to my reading today, and I hope you have a nice day. I would suggest reading this if you want to get into the minds of human beings who are in charge.